Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has shot himself in the foot. His hubris has turned three of his own trump cards against him. So much so that Netanyahu is now not violating but sticking to the terms of the ceasefire with Hamas. What has changed? Who are these three cards who have now forced his hand? Welcome to yet another edition of Wise Heads. I'm your host, Sachi Shukla. A few days back, Benjamin Netanyahu had threatened Hamas that if they don't release remaining hostages by noon on Saturday, the ceasefire would end. His threat came after Hamas declared that Israel is violating its terms of agreements and they would withhold releasing the hostages for the week. The US President Donald Trump then also doubled down on Hamas, saying all hell would break out if Hamas don't release the hostages. But then, within a few hours, Israel seemed to be complying with Hamas' demands. There were more relief trucks now rolling in Gaza, and thousands of mobile tents are being set up. What has happened in just a few hours for Netanyahu to change his mind? The first salvo came from Egypt. For long, it's been considered that Egypt is a doormat of the United States and thus docile to Israel. Gets $1.3 billion a year in aid from the United States. Its economy is in tatters. That's why Trump claimed that Egypt would do what he wants them to do. And that is to take a chunk of Palestinians into its fold for Trump to clean out Gaza. But Egypt says nothing doing. We are not taking in the Palestinians from the Gaza. Instead of complying, Egypt has called for a summit of Arab nations on 27th of February. It has begun doing military drills at the Rafah border with Israel. Its military has been asked to be in a state of complete readiness in Sinai and Rafah. An aid of $1.3 billion might have mattered something a few years ago, but now it's a pittance. In a nation of 110 million people, it amounts to only $11 per Egyptian. Besides, Egypt is now a member of the BRICS. It could get this aid from elsewhere. This was a card which Trump and Netanyahu thought they had in complete control, but Egypt is now defiant. The second card on which Netanyahu and Trump relied was Jordan. Jordan is a small monarchy. Half of its population are refugees from Palestine, and they have been completely subservient to the United States. But now Jordan too is defying Trump. They won't take Palestinians from Gaza. Not only it would amount to offering a helping hand in ethnic cleansing of Palestinians, it would make them appear traitor in the eyes of the Arab masses. If the US offers help in terms of aid, Jordan on its part also secures the eastern border of Jordan River for Israel. It also hosts a US military base. It's not as if Jordan offers nothing to the United States. It offers enough. It sees standing up to the US as a better option than buckling down and thus guaranteeing the fall of its monarchy. But the third card nobody saw coming. It's Saudi Arabia and its crown prince Mohammed bin Salman, called MBS around the world. Netanyahu gave an interview to Fox News in which he said Saudi Arabia has enough land to create a Palestine state within its fold. He also said that after Israel has taken care of Hamas, Iran and its other enemies, it would deal with Saudi Arabia from a position of strength. Now, Netanyahu could say all this because MBS had given no sign he would do anything other than what Israel wants. He had visited Israel secretly in 2017. He had rubbished the Palestinian cause in public. He had banned anyone from raising a Palestinian flag during pilgrimage to Mecca and Medina. Saudi Arabia had continued with its festivities while a genocide was unfolding in neighborhood. MBS had also signed up for Abraham Accords. MBS also was servile to Donald Trump. The US president had said if MBS wanted the privilege of his presence in Saudi Arabia, he would have to shell out $500 billion worth of contracts to the United States. When MBS complied with the offer of $600 billion, Trump said it would now be $1 trillion. But it was Netanyahu's arrogance which broke the back of this camel. After his interview, a statement from the Saudi kingdom didn't take long in coming. It said that no deal with Israel is possible unless and until a Palestinian state is created. All this had a cascading effect on Netanyahu. Egypt, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia were three neighbors who had given Israel a sense of protective layer. This assurance came because they were feeding out of hands of the United States. But now all three were singing a different tune. Netanyahu had ended up alienating them. So far, these Arab states were by his side. Now they are upholding the Islamic flag. All he did was to fuse a joint between the Arab and Muslim world for a common Palestinian cause. In effect, isolating Israel completely within the region and kind of leaving even the United States on a shaky ground with these states. All of this made Netanyahu bend backwards to Hamas, whereas he was threatening Hamas to comply with his demand to release all hostages by noon on Saturday. He now says even release of 3 hostages would be fine. The aid to Gaza has also moved into top gear with relief trucks rolling in and food, medicine and mobile tents are being set up in thousands. In the eye of the people, it is Hamas which has made Israel agree to its demands and that nobody had foreseen it coming. That's all in today's edition of Wise Heads. This is your host, Ashish Shukla, who now takes your leave. We meet again soon. Until then, goodbye and good luck.